I am working down here in my garage, working on Airhead maintenance, and I almost forgot about you guys. But I'm doing something that probably will make for a relatively quick video and may help some of you guys. So let's turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm doing. So what are we looking at here? This is a 1984 R65. 84 is the last year before they went to the single shock, the mono lever style rear suspension. This is twin shock, just like my R90 or this R100 that's sitting there in the background. So this is so very conventional. My friend Susan, she wants to get this back to riding conditions, needs some maintenance done, and I have agreed to do that for her. So overall, the engine runs really nice. It's very quiet. So I'm not expecting any major issues with the engines. I will have to open up the carbs and at least inspect and clean. She wants new tires on this thing, which are really necessary. The tires currently still on the rims are dry rotted as can be. The left side fork tube is leaking. The other side was still fine, but of course, if you do one, you do both, of course. She's also going to get some new brake lines, the rubber coated brake lines here. They are weathered and cracking, and I just bought BMW original parts. I will also most likely rebuild the master, and if I have to, both of the calipers, just to make sure brake wise and suspension wise everything is fine. This thing is of course going to get a complete change of all the fluids. We'll synchronize the carburetors, make sure the timing is good. I will look at the ignition and check what's going on there. So new tires, new brakes in the front. The rear, I looked at the pads already, or not the pads, the shoes. They're fine. So I most likely will not have to do anything back there. I will of course inspect for leakages of the final drive. But yeah, so right now I'm just doing the fork seals. And this is a way more modern front suspension than my 1974 R90. Less parts. And to take the fork sliders off of the fork stanchion is actually really simple. So on this bike, let me backtrack and explain what I already did. So here on those mounting points is where the fork brace is mounted, the stock fork brace that holds the front fender on. So I took that loose. Then I already had to take one caliper off of the fork slider on this side here to take the front wheel out. Hey guys, just a quick little editorial here. To correct my own mistake, you do not need to remove one of the front calipers to take the front wheel out. Once you have the axle removed, the bottom end of those fork sliders are shaped in a way that you can just grab the fork sliders, turn both of the fork sliders outward, away from the front wheel, and then you are able to take the wheel out without removing a caliper. Makes it much easier, especially on the side of the road. But as I always mention, or I mention it once in a while, not an expert. I'm just a DIYer, just like you guys. The only difference is that I take a camera along with me and then share my mistakes and my successes with you guys. So please take it easy on me, okay? Thank you. The calipers are kind of in the way. So one caliper taking off is enough to take the front wheel off. But I will take both loose. They're just held on with, where are they? Oh, I left it in here. So here's the fork slider. Oops, and we're making a mess. Two big bolts. Torque spec you can find in your BMW manual that you hopefully own. We can see that the fork oil here is really black and dirty. So when that goes in, it's usually clear or kind of straw colored. and this is all really dark and black. So good thing that we're opening it up. At least we can clean out the bottom half. I'm not going to take the entire fork apart. I'm just going to clean out, and then we're going to get a screwdriver under here gently. You don't want to scratch the interior surface of this this part of the fork slider here. You just want to get the seal out, so you can reach under here and then pop the seal out. We're going to do that in the vise here behind me. But what I wanted to show you real quick is how to get the fork slider off. So just for your visual, this is where the axle goes, right? This is where the front wheel is, and then you have, where are they? Some of those here. These are bolts that go through here. These are just the pinch. Oh, these are the wrong ones. Longer, the two longer ones here. These are just pinching the bottom of the fork slider to clamp the axle in place after you tighten the axle nut. So like that. So you take that out, then you take the axle loose, you slide the axle out, take one caliper loose so you can take the wheel out, and then once you did that, take the axle out, take the wheel away. Then once, oh, I'm making a mess with this black stuff here. This is disgusting. So I'll take the caliper off real quick. This is a 17 millimeter socket that you will need. And don't worry about the calipers hanging on the brake lines here. I will replace the brake lines anyways. She's gonna get brand new brake lines. There is one more thing. The hard lines here at the bottom, there's just a short section of hard brake line. They are supposed to be replaced each time you do that. I haven't ordered them yet, but I think I will. I don't want to shortchange Susan here on her bike. So the flare ends that are on those hard brake lines, I guess they crush down and you're not supposed to reuse them. So now we're just going to take the second caliper out of the way, let it hang. Like I said, the lines are going to be brand new anyways. I'll put the bolts right back into the mounting location here so I don't lose them. I've been chopping wood this morning. My hands are like really tired, dropping all kinds of things. All right, so wheel out of the way, caliper off, the boot up here loose. This is the leaky one. You can see if you look at your fork boot and you see it gets kind of lumpy at the bottom. That's usually when there's oil in it and the oil kind of deteriorates the rubber, and so it gets all blobby and lumpy. That's how I noticed that this was leaking. So when I took this off, immediately oil came running out. So and then you grab yourself a, what's this, a 10 millimeter hex, 10 millimeter Allen socket. If you have a little extension, a relatively long ratchet wrench. And then I have this Knipex, what is it? I don't know, 10-inch long adjustable wrench. I will use this one to just hold onto the fork stanchion. Not the fork stanchion, the fork slider. And then put my 10 millimeter Allen down in here. There is a bolt down in there that needs to come loose. So you want to hold onto the fork slider and then just break it loose. This one was really loose, by the way. Once you do that, it's going to start oozing. I don't know how much fork oil is still in this one here, but once you take it out, it's going to start spilling out. Very easy, very simple. There it comes. This looks much better on this side. I wonder why one side is so black, dirty, and the other side here is, nah, it's still black. It's still ugly. So when you want to put this back together later on, remember there is here's an aluminum seal ring on it. You can also use a copper. I bet you any of the BMW parts places will sell this little one. Just don't forget it or you will have a leak immediately. So here's the other one. This fork here, this side, had a lot of black, really like solidified goop on it. So if you have the boot loose, you have that bolt down there loose, have everything else out of the way, including the caliper, you can just pull on it. Just make sure you have your little pan ready. Oh, there's not much more coming. Oh. Okay. And we're just going to lay it down. And now look at all the... So this little piston down here is loose. This one is loose. Yeah, it's supposed to be loose because the bolt goes right through it. So disregard my stupidity here. But there is goop down here, like solidified. I don't even know what it is. I mean, coming out of a fork. This is like dirt. Oops, yeah, and then you throw it on the bench here, right into the black oil, and you wear a white t-shirt while you're doing that. That always helps. But yeah, this is almost like gravel. I wonder if this hard solid stuff is magnetic in some shape or form. Let's try that. No, it isn't. So that is pretty ugly. Now this one here is also loose. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna clean everything up. If you really wanted to, you could probably flush the fork stanchion out. This is pretty much the piston that now pushes up and down in the fork stanchion, and up above here are the springs. You could probably go a step further and disassemble everything completely, but I rode the bike, the forks sounded good, the feel was good. The only problem was that this side was leaking. So now we're just gonna get some rags, clean everything up, and then we're gonna focus on taking the old seals out, put new ones in, and reassemble. You also want to inspect the stanchion itself, if it has any major damage in the chrome here. Then of course we're at least replacing this 1-2 boot here, the one that's swollen from being exposed to the oil. So this one is going to be replaced, and we just need to... I'm not even sure. I think this bike originally didn't have the boots. So I guess I was correct. I just looked in the parts fiche real quick, and there are only protectors, no boots. It only has those little protectors that go on top of the fork slider. But it doesn't matter. This bike has them, so we're going to put another one on there. So now you can really take a close look at everything here. So this looks all pretty good. And the other boot over here, I was first contemplating replacing both, but it's not even, there's no cracking, no nothing going on. It's just used. And so I would say we're just going to reuse it. There is a little bit of some wear visible here in the chrome, but at least there is a light scratch here. Right there. I wonder if we can maybe polish this out a little bit. I have some steel wool and some WD. And let's see if we can there's one little nick in here. We're not going to replace this entire stanchion for one little nick, or are we? So let's see if I can, maybe with some 1500 grit sandpaper and some WD, get this one little nick so that I can't feel it anymore. That's all we need to accomplish. Just be very gentle if you try to do that. Because this one little nick in here will damage your brand new fork seal, and then you have a leak immediately again, and we don't want that. This feels much better. Yeah, I think we're getting there. If you can't feel it with your bare finger, this should work. I know there are going to be a lot of you guys saying, oh, you gotta replace this, and you know, you cannot do this and whatnot, and it's gonna leak, and it's the front suspension. I hear you guys, but you know, things sometimes have to be done on a budget. This front suspension felt fine, it sounded fine, there was no clunking, there was no hard metal on metal sound when the suspension was completely contracted or expanded. The only thing wrong was this leak, and the little nick that I just polished out with 1500 grit paper here was most likely the reason for the seal to leak in the first place. And this could have easily have been done during the install of the last fork seal, that they just scratched it. And now that we polished this out, we made it a smooth surface again. I cannot feel any scratch anymore. I think this is gonna last a long while like this. And this bike never had an accident. Feels good. It's smooth to the touch. So we're just going to leave it like this. The bottom end here is now all cleaned out. Now I'm just going to take this over to my parts washer, clean out the inside. There's a lot of sludge down there at the bottom. And then we're going to put that in the vise and take the seals out. So washed out, rinsed out with brake clean, and then I did the rag down the barrel kind of method. Now we're going to try to get the old seal out, and really only what we need is a screwdriver. You can also use a seal puller. You really got to make sure that you're not scratching the internal surface of the stanchion here, no, the slider. There you go. Boing. Goes flying. And then of course we need to clean this out, because you know, but yeah, you don't want to scratch up this internal surface. And then I wanted to use my seal driver. I have a seal driver for fork seals, but that's for modern motorcycles. It's unfortunately a little too large. So I would have put the seal over the stanchion, then offered up the fork slider and then driven it in while it is already kind of assembled. But I guess that's not going to happen. So now we're just going to find the new seal somewhere here in my BMW box. Just a pack of those two from BMW. No aftermarket off of eBay or anything. Looks good. The bottom where you can see the little ring in there, that's the bottom towards the fork here. So we just put that in there. And then we're going to find a large socket. In one of my tool cases, I have a drawer just for BMW parts. And this one here, it's definitely not a fork seal driver, BMW Airhead perfect fit. But yeah, it is. And you can really nicely hold on to it too. And push down on the seal and then just tap it down. When the sound changes, you know you have reached the bottom of this shoulder. I think we got it. Maybe I'll give it a couple more taps. Okay, that looks good. It's all the way down. The lip here not damaged at all. I'm gonna blow out the fork slider before I do anything else. But yeah, let's do that to the second one here. This is discolored. I can't get it off. So I guess it's gonna stay like this. You might wonder why I have this hose clamp still on here. This will go on to the bottom of the boot. And when I slide this back on, I don't want to forget to have this hose clamp in place. So this is good to go, more or less. A little bit more cleanup. So now here's the second one. Here's the same hose clamp dangling around, also washed off inside and out and rinsed out. I will still have to blow this out with air. Okay. So my seal puller, remember, not scratching. Get it in there gently. There's still some goop coming out of this seal here. There you go. And some cleaning. No scratches, no nothing. Second brand new seal. And then now that I found my perfect seal driver, we're just going to use that. Very nice. Very nice. All right, and that is seated all the way. Yep, looks good. So that's done. Now I'm just gonna go blow those out and then we're gonna reassemble this on the bike. So here we go. I have those little spacers all cleaned up. We're gonna shove them back on here. They might not stay in place, so I'll put a little bit of some grease in here. No, it's not. We could probably just drop them in the bottom of the fork slider, but I think it's going to be easy. Oh, hey, stay there. Stay put. Don't move. Okay. It doesn't like the idea with the grease, I guess. Let's see, on this side, maybe. No. So I guess we will have to put them in the bottom of the fork slider. The fork sliders I cleaned out internally, but also don't forget to have the surface here at the very bottom very clean, because that's where the seal is gonna, not seal, the little crush washer is gonna go, so you don't want to have any grit or grime. So I guess we'll have to try to jiggle this down. Yeah, it's sitting flat at the bottom. Let's do that one both. Just drop them into the bottom here. Yeah, that's good. And I put a little bit of a smear of grease here. Here's a nice chamfer, so we shouldn't have any problems getting the new seals slid over it. You can also put some grease here on the inside of the new seal, just so they don't get damaged in the process of installing it. And we have this little spacer down there. Let's do a little bit grease on this seal as well. I blew them out with compressed air and brake cleaner and multiple times until the inside was really nice and clean. Now I just need to find a set of crush washers that fit the bolt here. That one that goes at into the bottom of it. So I'm going to try to find that real quick. EME provided some seal crush washers. I don't know why I constantly keep saying seal. These are copper. And we got to find the right size. We need 2 of those. That looks good. So 1 new crush washer each. You gotta make sure you take the old one off though. Don't put 2 crush washers on there accidentally. So that's good. Here's the second one. My hands are really exhausted from holding my X this morning. I can barely hold onto bits and pieces here. It's kind of annoying. Everything in place. Now we just have to put the right fork slider on the right side of the fork. So a little bit of grease. And we have to be able to, oh yeah, that goes well. Yeah. And we got to get the rod here. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not that easy to slide the bottom end into the spacer here. So I wish I could just make it stick. We're just going to use some grease still and try that again. There you go. I think I was fast enough. And now we just need to get the... No, that's not the right size. Where is the right size? Oh, here. Allen key to get the bolt started. So let's recap real quick. We have the hose clamp. We have the boot already on. We have everything back together. We have new seals in it. Okay, so it's not going to fall off anymore. That feels good. let's do that on the second one here. Let's take the spacer out again. Let's just make it stick on here. And we just gotta be fast enough to get a okay. And the bolt. So, pretty much what's missing now is holding this again, torquing the bottom bolts to whatever your manual. I'm not going to give you any torque values. You better look that up. Always consult your shop manual or your Haynes or your Climber. You can probably find it online somewhere. Torque that up. Torque that one up. And then, as I mentioned, I will replace the brake lines. So this is still a project here for another day. And then, of course, you have to torque the calipers back onto the fork sliders here. And I like to use a little bit of blue Loctite, especially on brake components. I don't want those to come loose. We're going to replace, like I said, everything. The soft lines, the hard lines, all those rubber grommets. And then, of course, we have to put new brake fluid in. That's kind of a given. Once you break the line loose, we're going to have a mess brake fluid here anyways. But don't forget to put the fork oil back in the fork legs. And you do that from the top. Got to take a cap out. There is most likely also in this model, there is a Allen bolt, a socket head screw, that's what it's called, a socket head screw that you can take out, and then you can use a funnel to refill those. Here with a little seal ring or the crush washer at the bottom, the drain plug. Yeah, and this is your filler cap up there. So let's see if they have the right amount in here and what type of fork oil we're supposed to use. Okay. Front suspension specification. Tire inflation pressure. Front suspension torque specification. Torque top cap. Fork bridge, fork lower clamping nut, fork slot nut. R65 LS and R80ST gets 190 cc of Castrol LMH, Golden Spectrum Very Light, Mobile Aero. Of course, it doesn't give us the weight, so I might have to look around. I have multiple manuals. I don't have the owner's manual for this because the owner's manual for a BMW motorcycle is always a good source to find oil specifications. So, you know. Oh, Bellray SAE 5. So this is a 5-weight oil. That's pretty light. Fork slider Allen screw. Oh yeah, fork slider Allen screw R65 gets 30 to 40 Newton meters. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah, don't want to make this video any longer. So we put new seals in, clean the bottom end out, and we're gonna fill it with new, fresh SAE 5-weight fork oil from the very top. And we put one new boot in here. So mission accomplished for now. At least the forks are not going to be leaking anymore, as long as my my little scratch repair here is gonna hold up. Yeah, I hope this will help someone out there. Maybe you're working on an R65 as well, have the same type of fork. All right, you guys give me a thumbs up, please. Subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye.